Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Joking Dolphin Gaming Podcast. I'm Mark, and as always, I'm joined by Mathew.
Hello.
And Nathan.
Hello.
How are we, boys?
Really
All
good.
right, thank you.
Yeah.
Jolly good.
Raring to go. Funnily enough.
Go
Oh, messed it
Go on.
up already.
Go on,
Anyway,
go on.
let's crack on. Yeah, this is the 13th episode of the Joking Dolphin Gaming Podcast. Totally not melded in with it being
Halloween.
the Halloween period. So, yeah.
What a coincidence that is.
Yeah, Friday the
No,
13th.
no.
Was
Halloween's
it all
over
planned
now.
from the start?
Oh, yeah, that's it. Perfectly planned and executed, as you can all see and hear. I just want to get some housekeeping out of the way before we begin. Just rest in peace to Sean Connery, great Scottish actor. 90 years old, a good age, and I think we can all agree a fantastic career. So,
Not a bad one in the slightest. So,
No.
arguably the best Bond.
yeah, some may say.
I still maintain
we
that
can
Indiana
argue
Jones. I said some may say. But I maintain that Indiana Jones and the Last Crusade is the best Indiana Jones film. Largely in part because of him. So, yeah. Anyway, rest in peace, Sean Connery. Right, shall we move on to the gaming news?
Yes, let's do it.
So, I think one that pretty much stood out over this past week was Cyberpunk 2077 got delayed yet again.
Yep.
Is this ever going to come out? I'm not quite sure.
Well, apparently it's going to be out on the 10th of December now. So
yes, so it's been delayed an
see.
extra 21 days.
Yay.
They stated the challenge was shipping the game on the current gen, the next gen, and the PC at the same time. Apparently, according to their statement, they have to test 9 versions of the game.
What?
So, yeah, that's what they said in the statement.
PC? They've probably got to do different versions of the PC, maybe, and then they've got all the different consoles. So, Xbox.
I can think of 8.
You know, remember, it's Series S, Series X, PS5, PS4,
Xbox One X,
Xbox One, Xbox One X,
PC.
PC.
Is that 7?
What's that? I don't know.
PS4 Pro.
Yeah,
oh, yeah,
PS4
and the Pro.
Yep, so.
And then the Amiga CD32, lastly. No, I'm joking.
Sure, maybe. Who knows? Mobile.
Switch version.
Yeah, secret Switch version that we don't know about.
There we go.
But they said it's only extra 21 days. Can that be done in 21? Because the game's gone gold, hasn't it? So they announced.
Yeah.
So obviously this is all tweaking in day 0 patches, I presume.
I imagine it's the day 0 patches, yeah.
But in a follow-up statement from the CD Projekt Red CEO, he said, "We'd rather be slightly ashamed right now in front of you than be ashamed in front of the players once the game releases."
Yeah, I'm all for that.
Fair comment.
I'd rather wait and get a proper game than it ship and not be quite right. I mean, it's been pushed back a few times anyway. So at this stage, it's like get it done properly, and that's it. Like I know you're really looking forward to it, Mark, but it gives you more time to get your PS5. So
yeah, that's true. That is true. That is something that is a positive. Plus, I've said this countless times before. I've got plenty of other stuff I need to play to get through.
Yep.
As much as I do want to play this, I want it to release in a great state. I don't want it to be a buggy mess. If they need to take time to do it, so be it.
Yeah, I think this is something that I think the devs have kind of put on themselves as well. Is that they would rather keep on delaying it to obviously be embarrassed if it comes out and it's an absolute buggy mess, and obviously it's a bit, egg on the face kind of thing.
But is this enough time though?
Well, they must think it is. Otherwise, they
if they think 20, if they think they need just 21 days.
Part of me keeps thinking it will be delayed again. I can't help not think that.
Well, they've got form. Let's face it.
Yeah, exactly.
But also, yeah, but I think also as well the continuing challenges that all devs are facing with COVID. I suppose it's not easy to predict exactly when you think you've got the game in not in a perfect state, but in a near perfect state. I think
it's quite cool they want to release it before Christmas.
Oh yeah, it's got to be done for the holiday period.
But is that going to be a rush job? I just hope no.
They might end up rushing it because if it's not by the 10th, then I think they're going to definitely ship it. But is there going to be issues?
Yeah.
With any luck, this is enough time for them to get it into a workable state.
Well, the game itself will be in production now, won't it? It's gone gold. So
yeah.
all of this will be being made. So I guess it'll have to go out on time, I would think. 21. I'd like to know where they came up that 21 days, how they calculated that, because that seems a bit of a random number to me.
It's 3 weeks, isn't it?
3 weeks?
Oh, yeah, I guess. But in relation to this, due to the uncertainty around the game, because of these delays, CD Projekt Red's stock has ended up falling 25% for the past 2 months.
Wow.
That's quite a drop.
So now's a good time to buy.
It's a drop.
Get all the stocks before they ship it.
Getting the stocks now, so that when all the reviews come out with perfect 10s, the stock's going to absolutely skyrocket.
Exactly. Welcome to the trading segment of the Joking Dolphin trading podcast. Yeah.
Trading
podcast? Oh, no.
Anyway. Okay, so let's move on anyway. So PS5 pre-sales, PlayStation CEO Jim Ryan has said that Sony has pre-sold as many PS5s in the first 12 hours of availability as they did in the first 12 weeks for the PS4.
Wow, that's impressive.
That's some high demand, isn't it?
Yeah, definitely.
Well, I mean, considering the times we're in as well, that's very impressive.
Yeah, there's no wonder they're not going to be able to fulfill. Well, why you can't get anything anyway.
I was going to say, no wonder there's shortages all over the place.
That's it. I think it's like the perfect storm in terms of when the consoles are coming out, because we're in the midst of COVID. As of yesterday, we found out we were going to be into a lockdown again. So I think everyone's just looking
here in the UK.
Here in the UK,
yeah.
Where it matters. Anyway.
For us.
Oh,
yes.
ouch. Oh.
Yeah.
Sorry, Scotsman.
But yeah, it's perfect. Everybody wants to buy a console. This is the new thing that's coming out. And I think people that wouldn't normally buy a console are now looking to get one because there's nothing else to do, basically.
The thing is, it seems to have got a bit weird because all the games we're eager to see on the PS5 are getting delayed anyway. So the more it goes on, the more I'm not as hyped. Well, not hyped, but more I'm not as bothered about getting a one on launch because there'll be fewer things to be playing on it anyway. But Jim Ryan has also stated that the PS4 will likely have support running up to at least 2022.
That's good.
So
it's about right for what they did with the previous generations.
Yeah, they normally last a couple of years, don't they? FIFA will be going to like 2026. Games like that, legacy editions.
Because yeah, so they know that obviously a lot of PlayStation players will not make that jump at the same time. I mean, it's due to obvious reasons now because we can't get a hold of them. But
yeah,
at least it's good that they'll keep at it.
Yeah, I mean, there's also the hardware upgrades in terms of televisions, because if you want to get the best out of it, you're going to need a 4K television, and not everyone's got one of them yet. So in that case, it might not be right for people to jump across straight away.
Black Friday.
That's it.
Tasty TVs.
Tasty PS5s, 150 quid. Please.
No.
So a Sony representative said that the PS5 cooling fan can be adjusted with firmware updates.
Ah, it's interesting.
So they said various games will be released in the future and data on the accelerated processing unit's behavior in each game will be collected. We have a plan to optimize the fan control based on this data. PS5 has 3 temperature sensors on the main board to control the fan speed based on the internal temperature of the APU and the highest temperature of the 3 temperature sensors. These fan control parameters will also be updated via online updates. So, effectively, games with performance that don't require extra cooling, the fan can be turned down. And if it requires high performance, the fan can be turned up. Which is good, because at least it means it won't be whirring for every single game you own.
Yeah, definitely.
That tiny little indie game. Going,
sometimes it sounds like a helicopter trying to get off.
Yeah, every time I play Red Dead 2, that's when my
God.
PS4 Pro goes into overdrive. It goes crazy. I do think it's going to self-implode. Now, the PlayStation VR on PS5 now requires a camera adapter. So the PS5 camera doesn't work for PSVR.
Yeah, I was going to talk about this actually. So you need to go to the PlayStation site to basically ask for this adapter. It's free, so you don't have to pay for it. And I think we'll leave a link to that in the description, just so if you are listening, you can click that link and then place your order.
I think so far it's only working in North America, though.
Okay.
I think there's been issues with people doing it in the rest of the world.
I did mine this morning, and
did it work fine?
I got a notification back saying that it'd be basically done at the middle of this month. So middle of November is when they're going to start to send them out. So I just want to explain the process. So you go to the website, and it's going to ask you for the code that's on your PSVR dock. So I'll just show you this. So this is the dock section. So on the back, at the bottom, you'll see your barcode, and then under there's the code that you'll need to enter.
I think you just told everyone your code.
The camera's probably not good enough to pick it up. I've already done it, so it's fine. So if you just put that into the website along with your contact details and address, then PlayStation will send you one out free of charge. So
it's might as well get it done.
Yeah,
might as well just do it. You got nothing to lose. Once you get it eventually, once you get your PS5 eventually, it'll be great. I've read that some people have had issues on the website though, but it's kind of done looping. So like you press a button and it just goes back to the start of what you were already doing or something like that. But hopefully that might be fixed by this point. But yeah, go check that out. I'll be going to trying that. Well, if it works. So I want that. Have we got any other news?
Yeah, just more on the PSVR side of things. So a Sony spokesman who reportedly spoke to Upload VR said players won't be able to play the VR portions of Hitman 3 if they buy the PS5 edition. So you're going to have to buy the PS4 edition in order to play the PSVR points. So that's a little bit of a annoyance, because I imagine you'd want to get the PS5 version of Hitman 3, Mark, because you'll want to play it the best.
Well, the game comes out in January, and realistically, will I have a PS5 at that point? Probably not. So I probably will buy the PS4 version anyway.
Yeah.
Because it does have a free upgrade to PS5, so I might as well just do it anyway.
Yeah. Well, there is a way that you can actually get around it, because they're talking about doing like cross saves, so you can pick up where you left off, regardless of which console you're going to play the game on. So I think that's good. So you could play the PS4 version and then move over to PS5 for the non-VR stuff. So there's ways around it. That's also going to be the same for No Man's Sky as well, in terms of it not being compatible with the PS5, the VR sections. But we don't know anything about the cross-save yet in terms of that game.
Okay.
All right. Let's go talk a bit about Microsoft. So now they're letting Xbox owners stream Xbox One games on their iPhone and the iPad. So their new Xbox app on the iOS now has a remote play mode, a bit like PlayStation. And then it runs on the console and it just streams it to your device. So I know they were in a hot water with Apple, weren't they? About I can't remember what it was called now. What was it? Is it xCloud? Is that what they were doing?
Yeah, it's the xCloud streaming app on
so basically
other devices.
Apple and Microsoft were having handbags, weren't they? The whole stream. But this seems like this is how they got around that sort of thing. We'll see how that goes. And I don't really stream games to my mobile devices or anything like that. But if you want it.
Yeah, I mean, I've done it a bit on my laptop because you can stream your Xbox One to your Windows devices. And I've done that a bit, and that was okay. So, for example, my wife can watch Coronation Street while I'm playing FIFA on my laptop. So that's fairly good. I'm not sure what it'll be like on the mobile devices or whether you'll be able to use it externally outside of your own home network. But I suppose we'll see. I mean, it could be that it's quite choppy. I don't know. Well, I suppose we'll have to test it and find out.
I think it could work outside your own network. I think. I can't remember the specifics though. But I think
so whenever we are able to go out and about, at that point we'll be able to play a bit of Xbox on the bus or wherever we are. So, that'd be cool.
Should be fun.
Sticking with Xbox, the development chief Jason Ronald tweeted about the backwards compatibility of it. He's put, after 500,000 plus hours of testing, we are excited to share that all Xbox 360, and Xbox One games playable. What? No, I completely messed this statement up. Basically, all games will be available on the Xbox Series X to play it, except for a handful that require Kinect.
Okay.
Which is good.
That makes sense.
Yeah, definitely. Like, some of the Kinect games are a bit naff anyway, let's face it. But it's great. It's like, how many generations? That's, 3 generations of backwards compatibility. If you like that kind of thing. I know you're not too much of a fan of the backwards compatibility because you've already got the consoles, Mark. But
well, no. To be fair, there'll be a lot there that I might have missed out on. So it's there. It's choices.
Well, that's it. It's a nice.
It's choices,
nice
isn't it? Really?
That's what I like about this console generation that's coming up. It's that they're both going in their separate directions. Literally, like, you got one that's pretty much focusing entirely on this generation. No doubt they'll have some great exclusives, and then obviously you've got the Xbox, which hopefully with the Bethesda acquisition and all that, they might have some of their own exclusives. But all that backwards stuff, that's nice. It's got a broad range in it, so a win-win for all gaming. Halo Master Chief Collection. There's going to be a next-gen upgrade. Now, I don't know if it's going to be free. I presume it might be, but it's coming on November 17th, and that includes cross-gen play and adjustable field of view. Is that a big thing in games now? I don't know.
Well, the adjustable field of view.
Yeah,
it's massive for PC games, for sure.
I can imagine a monitor size, can't you? I imagine that's because of it, maybe. Because you get those widescreen monitors, can't
you? Yeah. Not even just for that, though. Even on just like a normal monitor. Essentially, the field of view is, in effect, the higher field of view that you have, the more that you can see essentially around your character. It's more about sort of the sides of what you can see. So, stuff like even just use some like Call of Duty as an example. I think they're also doing some like this for Black Ops Cold War for consoles. So it's a bit of I suppose a way of getting an advantage of being able to see more of what's happening around you.
I presume in Call of Duty then everyone's just gonna have the wide one.
You can
just see much.
It is, but I suppose it depends. It also kind of brings your field of view back a little bit as well, so you're not fully zoomed in and seeing everything, but
you're not fisheye.
Yeah, but I suppose it depends on whether you can. I suppose maybe adapt to it with your eyes. I think sometimes wider field of views can be a bit no-shame because you're seeing a lot more all of a sudden.
Yeah.
Plus, if you're not as zoomed in, you might not see stuff as far away. Maybe potentially.
Yeah, that's true.
I think that's maybe one disadvantage. But for people who like to twitch shoot and run around with the shotguns, I suppose it's perfect for them.
Yeah. Looks like I'll have to buy 2 more televisions to test it out then.
Just get 2 wide monitors. That's all you need.
Sticking with Halo though, the Halo Infinite director, Chris Lee, has left the project. This is the second director to leave the project in 2 years. Now, this is presumably after that the lukewarm reception to that reveal trailer that we saw. Although apparently it seems that Chris Lee was sidelined a few weeks after that reveal, and Halo veteran Joe Staten, I don't know which, was brought in to lead the single-player campaign, and senior executive Pierre Hintz has been brought in to take charge of the multiplayer. Not all going well at 343 by the looks of it.
Well, they didn't get a very good reception when they revealed Halo Infinite. Whether that was for good reasons or for bad reasons, I think that's up to debate. I initially thought it looked fine to me. It looked like it had that feel of the original Halo again, which is kind of, I think, what a lot of people have kind of really been pining for after the direction they took Halo 4 and Halo 5 Guardians. But I mean, clearly it didn't get the greatest of receptions, and Microsoft's kind of reacted to it to get some changes going to get it, I suppose, back on track and where they want it to be, really.
Yeah, it's especially there's going to be a massive overhaul by the looks of it, judging by this.
Yeah, you can see them maybe pushing it back at this stage then. Again.
Well, have they announced them? They haven't announced release date. They've just postponed it.
Did they say something like, was it Q1 or Q2 2020?
Something like that, yeah. I don't think they gave a definitive date.
What this year?
2021.
Oh, sorry, 2021. Q1 and Q2 is already gone for 2020.
I know it's been a weird year, but
based on this, there's no way.
It's been a very long year.
I can't see that happening at all. I think we could be talking holidays next year at least.
I mean, I think for all the money that they put into it, and this is their biggest IP, it's got to be done right.
Yeah, no, they can't screw this one up.
This is what everybody's waiting for on Xbox.
Have either of you been watching any unboxings? Like Xboxes?
I haven't. It's been rampant all over Twitter, though, over the last week or so.
Well, it's just on the back of the box, there's just a big face of Master Chief. It's just like...
well, I mean, he is coming eventually.
Well, the Master Chief collection's getting the upgrade, so...
Yeah, that's what they're advertising, the Master Chief.
Yeah, that's it. That's what it was.
Hey, did anybody see the fridge video? The Xbox.
Oh, I love that.
Oh, that were hilarious. They just gave into the meme, didn't they? Fantastic.
Embrace the meme. It's so good. Looks like a decent fridge, to be fair.
Would you buy it?
I'll buy it. I'd like to win one, though.
Is it going to be a prize? Are they doing some competition?
Yes, it's a real prize.
Is it? I didn't know.
Yeah. So, do you know the tweet that I shared with you?
Yeah.
I'll put it on there. If you retweeted that and followed Xbox, you'd go into a prize draw for it, and it's open for. Oh, it seems to be open for UK and America. So.
Sorry, everybody. I want to 2 minutes.
No, mine. Get off.
I want to sit in the background of one of these.
Mate, if I win it, it's going in my room, mate. I'm going to show it.
Oh, that'd be great. That'd be the new.
I saw the really dramatic trailer of it.
Oh yeah, it's really good.
All the like pomp and circumstance music behind it.
Thing is, as well, I think it was someone from Xbox. I don't know if I could verify or not, but someone was like, they put on like a poll on Twitter. It was like, what would you guys think if we made like Xbox Series X mini fridges? Like, would you buy one? I'd be like, yeah, I'd be all over that.
Yeah, hell yeah.
Give me a mini fridge with that.
While I'm gaming, right next to you, put your beer in. There you go. Job done. Be amazing.
What if you accidentally put your beer on like your Xbox Series X? Like, oh.
This is all these new consoles do have a sort of meme attached to them, don't they?
Yeah.
They all resemble something else. So you've got the Xbox Series X fridge.
Right. I'm going to do a cheeky plug here. I've just... Go on, sorry.
You've got the Series S speaker. Get them all made.
Get them all made, yeah. Easy money there.
Free money, yeah. Free money. Just get them done. So what were we saying there?
Well, I've just retweeted it on the Joking Dolphin Twitter page. So
I see you said somebody else so I've just seen a notification.
If we win it, it's a team.
If
present.
we win it,
right?
Who's going to host it?
Divvy it up.
Just wheel it around everyone.
Yeah, that's it. Like, I'll have it on weekends, and you two can scrap over it for a week.
No, we'll just do it month by month.
Yeah, that makes sense.
No, 4 months. You don't want to be moving it all the time.
Yeah, that's true. Looks a bit of a beast. So.
Thing is, I wonder if you actually win the Series X as well with it.
Not if it's been in the fridge. I don't know why they put one in there.
Oh yeah, we were worried if it was
looks
in
really
the
odd.
Why do you keep your Series X in the fridge?
Well, I'm not using that one then. I didn't like the top of the fridge though. Didn't look quite right.
What with that green glow?
Yeah, because in the actual console it's a bit indented, isn't it?
Yeah.
Whereas it was just flat and just had like the flat green. Like we're getting far too.
Well, they can't get it all.
You're going very technical over a fridge, man.
It was good. I liked it. I totally dig one of them. Right, so let's talk about loot boxes. So loot boxes in FIFA have now been banned in the Netherlands by the Dutch government, and they've been classified as online gaming. Now, I'm going to read a statement, which is fairly lengthy, but I think it's important. So it says here. So, in 2019, the Netherlands Gambling Authority, known as the KSA, imposed an administrative order subject to a penalty of up to €5 million on electronic arts, and the Electronic Arts Swiss Art, each for violating the Gambling Act through its packs in the FIFA video game. The District Court of The Hague recently ruled in favour of the KSA in this matter. The judgment was published today. This statement was made on 29th October. The KSA imposed the order subject to the penalty because the popular FIFA football game contained illegal loot boxes. These loot boxes are like treasure chests. The FIFA loot boxes, for example, would contain football players that could improve the performance of the team that the player was using to play the game. The players contained by the loot box are determined by chance, and the contents cannot be influenced. The fact that football players sometimes have a high value and that they can occasionally be traded constitutes a violation of the Gambling Act. Under Dutch law, a game of chance that allows a prize or premium to be won can only be provided if the relevant license has been granted. A study carried out by the KSA in 2018 found that there may be a correlation between playing games that incorporate loot boxes and development of an addiction to gambling. Chairman René Janssen of the KSA says, the KSA believes it is crucial to shield vulnerable groups, such as minors, from exposure to gambling. For that reason, the KSA supports a strict separation between gambling and gaming. Gamers are often young and therefore particularly susceptible to developing addiction. As such, gambling elements have no place in games. Following the publication of the study, the KSA called on companies in the gaming industry to adapt their games so they were no longer infringing the Gambling Act. A number of companies heeded the KSA's call. However, EA and Electronic Arts Swiss Art did not. So they do go on to say it was some other stuff, but that's part and parcel of it. Good, as far as I can say.
It's good that somebody's doing something about it. Definitely, yeah.
It's about time someone.
I'm not surprised at EA's reaction to it in doing nothing, though.
Yeah. I hope this becomes a wider thing. It's going to cost you. Although I don't want to bring Brexit up, but with us going out of the EU, is that going to, if it's EU imposed, will we end up getting involved in it? I don't know.
Probably not.
I can't see it happening in America, though.
No.
Oh, no, it won't happen in America.
You can't say America.
Well, I mean, I suppose it'll depend on who is, I suppose, in charge after November the 3rd.
Yeah, that's true.
I mean, not to get too involved in American politics, but I suppose I can see one party at least attempting to look into it and maybe doing something about it. As this moment in time, probably the current party would take a blind eye, but I mean, I'd be all up for this in the UK. I'd love to see at least I suppose EA's kind of version of loot boxes need to kind of go away. I don't know about all of them. I don't know, because I mean, there's an argument on sort of the ones where you only get like, for instance, like Fortnite and Overwatch, you open loot boxes, all you get is
skins,
cosmetics, emotes, stuff like that. Nothing that gives the player an advantage within the game.
Yeah, the whole pay to win thing.
Yeah. Like if it's pay to win, then I'd be up to getting rid of that, because I don't think that should exist. I don't think that's really fair on players.
As long as you know in general what you're going to be receiving. Skins, then fair enough. You're not going to get a skin.
Yeah. I think to be fair to Epic, I think the way they do it, handle it, is a lot better than some others, because before you open any of the llama crates that they've got, they actually kind of show you what you'll be getting within those crates. Like, you actually know what you're getting. So there's no chance.
What's available? What's a possibility you can get? Is that what
you're saying? Yeah. So I think this is this is only within the save.
So does it show you the pool?
Option. No, it actually shows you the actual items that you can get.
What you're definitely going to be getting?
Yeah, so you definitely get this out of this crate.
Oh, yeah, that's great then. That's fine. Yeah. If you know what you're getting, then that's up to you, then, isn't it?
I don't know how Overwatch handles it or any other kind of similar mechanics with other games, but I think at least for Fortnite, I think they handled it quite well.
Yeah, definitely. I think if EA was to do something similar, let's just take FIFA for example, they'd probably have the packs being by coins that you gain by playing the game, and then they might say, right, so Messi's going to cost this much money or this much FIFA points, and do it in like a by player thing if they were to change Ultimate Team, for example. So you know exactly which player you were getting. You were going to pay this amount of coins to get this player. Could do it that way.
I don't really play Ultimate Team though, so I don't really know how it works, but I know it makes a lot of money.
Yeah.
Well, the thing is, it's gotten popular with obviously like YouTubers and Twitch streamers doing streams of like 100K pack opens, and it draws a lot of attention. People want to see what these streamers get with the money that EA most likely gave them to open those packs. But it's just like I don't know how you could make the loot mechanics work for FIFA. Like I try to think of like what Nathan's just suggested, sort of maybe just buy individual players, but there's still like a pay to win mentality then.
Yeah.
Like, I'm just gonna waste 35 quid on buying Ronaldo.
But it's knowing that's the thing. It's knowing that that's the player that you're going to be getting, and not spending that 40 quid to buy FIFA coins to buy packs where you might only get rubbish players, for example.
I suppose.
I think that's what it hinges on. It's actually knowing what you're going to be getting.
Yeah, because then it's not a gamble. You know
exactly. Yeah,
isn't it? Don't you?
Yeah. I suppose that in that instance you get away from the gambling aspect, but it's still then you change the game to being just pay to win. Then,
well, it's pay to win. That's true. It's pay to win already, though. Let's face it. Like a bronze team's not going to win against a gold team generally unless the player's really crap.
Well, it could be. I mean, there's all that argument about FIFA scripting for Ultimate Team, but I'm not going to go down that route.
Yeah, I mean, I think it is a positive step that the Netherlands have decided to take to combat this, because it is a big thing. I mean, we hear every week or couple of weeks about a kid that's taken the parent's credit card and they spent thousands of pounds on even V-Bucks, FIFA points, anything like that. And I think if this was to happen across Europe and even worldwide, it'd combat that in some way, which is good.
Yeah, they'll find some ways to get money out of you, but the whole gambling situation, get rid. I want to know what I'm buying.
Yeah, even though it's really exciting.
Yes. No, it's not. No.
Yeah, for showing his true colours there.
Yeah, that's it. The gambler's coming through.
Part of the problem.
Yeah, that's it. I am the problem. Sorry, everyone. Yeah, I do think it's a positive step in the right direction, though. Yeah,
it is. Let's just hope it becomes more the norm. Other news, a bit more positive. Kojima Productions have confirmed they've got a new project in the works, and they're currently looking to hire new best-in-class talent to work out of their Tokyo studio. I do hope it's another game that's outside the norm.
Well, you've got to think it's going to be it being a Kojima game.
I mean, Death Stranding was divisive, but I admired that it was his own thing. It's not for everyone, but I'm eager to see what Kojima and Co will come up with.
Yeah, definitely. Like using the PlayStation 5 to their advantage as well. See what they can create.
Well, it has been long rumored that he might be going to a horror game. So I don't know. That might turn me off it if it's a horror game. I don't know. I don't want to play a scary game, but But we'll see. We'll see.
That's it. Stay tuned.
Anyone got any other news?
Yeah, I've got another piece. So there was a study done by Cadbury's Heroes. Yes, the chocolate company.
I bought some of them for Christmas.
Did you? Oh,
yeah. I've got a box already. Ready. It's the only luxury I've bought for Christmas, but there we
go. Anyway, the study was about age demographics playing video games, and they've come out and said that 1 in 5 grandparents are playing video games since lockdown, so that's kind of spiked. So there's been like a few articles on this. So, for example, Lad Bible reported a 65-year-old gamer that fell in love with Red Dead Redemption 2.
I think I heard about this. Yeah.
And then there was like a week before, there was a 63-year-old that went through the second playthrough of Assassin's Creed Origins. So it's got really big. So I just want to read this statement out. So this lady from Lincolnshire, Bridget Aldin, said, "Gaming has always been a passion of mine and something I've enjoyed with my kids and now grandkids." She's 76 years old, and you'll never guess what her grandkids call
her.
No idea.
G-Ma.
What?
G-Ma.
G-Ma.
Okay. Yeah, gangster. Anyway, I thought that was quite funny. So yeah, more of the older generations getting into video games since lockdown, which is good. With any luck, they won't be taking up my PS5 pre-order that I'm trying to get. But yeah, let's see. But yeah, it just shows that gaming is for everybody, and anybody, regardless of who you are and what your tastes are, can get something out of it. So yeah, I think it's really good.
Oh, cool.
Some good news for you here, Matt. Well, I'm sure you'll like it anyway. Marvel Spider-Man remastered costumes will be added to the PS4 version for free.
Wicked. Can't wait. Do we know any?
I think that was something that we weren't quite sure about, weren't it?
Oh yeah.
So this was confirmed by the community director at Insomniac. However, he did say that the timing was to be decided, so it may not be at launch.
It's probably to be expected.
Yeah, trying to encourage people to get the new one.
Well, yeah.
Unsurprising. Sticking with PlayStation exclusives, Destruction All Stars.
Mm-hmm.
It has been delayed until February next year.
Oh,
however, it will now be a PS Plus game.
Oh, sweet!
For 2 months.
For 2 months.
Yeah, which I think is a stroke of genius, because this was going to be a first-party launch title, and it was going to cost about like £70 or whatever the prices are.
Yeah.
I think of all the launch titles, this was the one that I don't think people would have really given much of a second thought about.
No,
it does seem like Fortnite with cars in its styling and everything. I think this is probably going to go down the same route that Fall Guys and Rocket League did. Do you know, in terms of it being just a big, massive success going on to Plus.
I think that's what they're hoping. I think, yeah.
I think so.
I think it's a very smart move, because I don't think many people would have bought it.
Not at that price point, I don't think.
No,
because there's certainly nothing that grabbed me about it. I wouldn't have bought it.
And for games like this, I think it's really important to get that community behind it, because the only reason I'd probably play it is if we were going to do it like as a team or something. And then I think at that point you can have fun with it, and because your cars are flying everywhere, you're battling, trying to survive and stuff like that. So I think you could have a really good time with it with a group of people. So I think, yeah, it's a really clever move that they decided to put it on Plus to basically get that back in when it first comes out. So
yeah,
because at least I'm going to be willing to give it a shot now. Whereas I won't give it time of day.
Yeah. Would you have bought Fall Guys if it wasn't on Plus? At 40 quid.
Depends what. No, not 40 quid now.
It didn't come out at 40 quid.
I was just saying, as an example, if it had not come out on Plus or anything, would you have bought it?
Well, no, not at 40 quid. I wouldn't have. At the price point that it was on Steam, I
what
did.
was it on Steam?
I think
Was it over 20?
I don't think it was over 20. I think it was just short of 20.
Because I was going to say 20 would probably be our cut off for Fall Guys. Knowing what the game is.
Yeah. Yeah. No, I think they were wise to not put it as like a full price launch.
The thing is, these sorts of games for me, I don't tend to play them very often on my own. They tend to become my social games. So only when I'm playing with other people online do I tend to play them. Like Fall Guys, Rocket League, and this Destruction All Stars will probably be the same. Those sort of games. They'll all be social games for me.
Yeah.
But moving on to Bug Snacks. Now we're all intrigued by this one, aren't we?
Yeah.
Yes.
Some incredible news here is that Bug Snacks will be part of November's PS Plus games.
What?
For the PS5.
That's incredible.
Yep.
I was going to buy it anyway.
So you can get the PS5 version at launch.
Sweet.
Free on PS Plus.
Love it.
Wow.
Not the PS4 version, though. Is there a PS4 version? I don't know.
It says there a PS4 version?
I thought it was just PS5, but
it might be. But yeah, the wording does specifically say PS5, so I don't know. But yeah, you can get that PS Plus, and there's two other games, but I can't remember what they are. Because I wasn't interested in the other ones. This is the other one that interests me. Just Bug Snacks. So if you were unfortunate enough not to get a PS5 at launch, I'm hoping you can claim it via the website or something like that. And then you'll have it.
I was going to ask about it, yeah.
They used to do that with like the PS3 and PS Vita games that they brought out. So you could you could buy them and then you could always download them later. So fingers crossed it's going to be the same thing with this. Because I'd hate to miss out on some PS5 games I could have.
I don't want to miss this. I do not want to miss Game Bug Snacks.
No.
And we're still paying for PS Plus anyway, so, surely we're entitled to it.
Exactly.
You'd think so.
So yeah, look out for that. Ubisoft. I've got quite a few stuff on Ubisoft because Ubisoft are always in the news for various reasons. Well, this one first, but this piece on them it's a bit redundant now because the game's actually out. But I just thought this was quite funny anyway. So Watch Dogs Legion recently came out this past week, but before it did, hackers threatened to release the Watch Dogs Legion source code in an ironic. Yeah.
Okay.
So a ransomware group called Egregor claims to have obtained the source code for the game. I couldn't find what the demands was. But then again, part of me just thought this might have been an elaborate marketing campaign. I thought it was funny nonetheless that hackers would, the Watch Dogs, would be tempted to release it. But anyway. Sticking with Ubisoft, Far Cry 6 and Rainbow Six Quarantine have both been delayed.
No.
Unsurprising. But they've not specified any release dates.
No. From what I could find on it, it could be looking at sometime between 2021 and 22, maybe.
Yeah, I did hear 2022 might be if that's the case, then blimey.
But I mean, I think they put that down to again. It's just the difficulties that everyone's got with COVID. Yeah. Fortunately,
personally, I would just delay the consoles. I know people don't want to hear that, but just
I honestly wouldn't be. I wouldn't be too bothered about that, to be honest.
No, I would. This is like
I would give me the hardware. I want it now, even though it's going to be out in a few weeks.
You got pre-order?
No, still.
It's going to build his own.
Yeah, that's it. Build my own PS5. I've seen this teardown video.
Yeah.
I can reverse engineer it.
There you go. Just reverse the video. See how he puts it back. There you go. Job done.
He's going to make a monster mashup of Series X and the PS5.
I don't know if you might have heard about this, Matt.
Oh.
This is sort of news that you might think about. So, Assassin's Creed.
Yes, that's it.
Yes.
Yes.
So, Assassin's Creed TV series is coming to Netflix.
The Ultimate Tech Team.
We always seem to talk about some TV
some
series
Netflix related.
Now, for some reason. Didn't we discuss something like an Assassin's Creed TV series on the last episode?
I think we did, yeah. I think we were talking about how I think we said like Assassin's Creed just didn't work as a film and would be better as like a TV series. And then out of the blue,
again,
Netflix
been
was
listening to us.
Netflix was clearly listening to the podcast last week.
So the TV deal between Netflix and Ubisoft will include a live action, an animated, and an anime series. So they're going all out. They're going the whole Resident Evil on it.
Clearly.
Well, this is something I didn't realise. I only saw this when this was announced. But it turns out they've also got a deal to produce a Splinter Cell anime series, which I went aware of. And they've also, Netflix are also producing a film adaptation of The Division, which is starring Jessica Chastain and Jake Gyllenhaal. Not a bad cast there.
Oh,
Jake Gyllenhaal did he do Assassin's Creed the film?
No, that was Michael Fassbender.
Oh, was it? Okay.
Yeah. Mr. Magneto. I'd heard about the Division one. I think this has been something going for
been a while.
Couple of years, I think. Yeah. I don't know when it'll.
That's good cast.
Started filming or.
That's two good actors in that.
No, I do like Jake. I did like him in the Spider-Man film, but.
Well, that's me for the news.
That's you. You've stolen all of my news points. Other than, I only got one. Well, I was thinking of 2 points, but I don't know whether one is really related to gaming or not. But I can go through it as it was on a gaming website I took it from. So Sony is looking set to buy the anime streaming service Crunchyroll for almost $1 billion.
$1 billion.
$1 billion. I don't know. I suppose for people who obviously aren't into anime, this is probably not going to be.
All I'm thinking of is give it us for free on PS Plus.
That would be wicked. That would be cool.
Because I don't like watching ads in between my anime, and I'm too cheap to buy the premium version. So,
you cheap bugger. Apparently, Sony already owns. I think it's Fun Animation.
Funimation.
Funimation, sorry. Yeah, and they already do quite a few. They've got their own little anime service stuff as well.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, it seems like Sony are trying to take over the anime business. Yeah. Other than that, the only one other thing I've got is that I should have probably tied this into the Marvel Spider-Man stuff, but they Insomniac revealed the second pre-order suit for Marvel Spider-Man Miles Morales, and it's the one that's based off the Into the Spider-Verse suit. But the thing that they've done with this as well is that they've not just recreated the suit, they've purposely recreated the animation style as well. So you'll be web swinging through New York 60 frames while Miles is animated at like 20 frames per second.
Wasn't there something like that in the actual other game though? I'm sure there was
in the original. They brought through
an animated one, weren't they?
Yeah, they brought through the Peter Parker suit they wore into the Spider-Verse, but I don't know if they did the animation style. I think he just kind of swung.
No, there was definitely one that had an animation drawing style to it. I can't remember what it was called.
There's one. It's the one from the Into the Spider-Verse one, wasn't it? It was last suit.
Was it? I don't know. I can't remember.
I'm sure it was.
I can't remember. Probably.
Well. Anyway, apparently this is going to be something new for the Miles Morales game, where like he animates like he's in the film, and then when he's like fighting, when he's punching, you can see like the pow and fuds coming off the enemies. It looks pretty cool. It did look pretty good. But yeah, that's me out of news now.
Cool. Shall we move on to the question then?
Sure.
do it.
A question. Do you want to ask a question?
I shall. So, which video game, would you recommend to a Well, sorry, I'll start this again. I've messed this up. Right. So, which video game would you recommend a non-game to play?
We got that in the end.
Yeah. Do you want to kick us off with it, Matt?
Me, right. Ooh. So when we suggest, I don't know if we suggest, I think it might have been a question I suggested, I think. Can't remember. But the first game that immediately popped right to my head, I think, would be a perfect game for those that don't game to kind of, I suppose, understand, well, why we play games. Would be Papers, Please.
Okay. That's an interesting choice.
Well, I don't know. I don't know. There's
That's
just
a
something
really
about.
interesting choice.
There's just something about it that I think would immediately it'd be like a switch in people's heads of like, oh, this is what gaming's like. Like it's not just kind of just run left to right and jump on bad guys or something like that, or it's not for. It's a game that says games don't have to be for kids. It can be for everyone. But just because of how deep it can be as well, like on the surface, Papers, Please is just, I'm just playing a guy, stamping passports, getting people through and stuff. But
yeah,
there's a real, if you really want to dig into it, there's a real depth to it. There's so much more than that, like having to look after the family.
There's moral decisions and things like that.
Yeah, there's moral decisions in it that you could easily apply to real life and stuff. Yeah, keep on telling that guy who keeps on bringing fake passports in just to go away. But I thought it'd be really good. I think as well, just on a graphic sense, you can go, look, this is what games can be. It's not all about hyper realistic graphics or even just QE graphics. It can just be an art style that's just actually really beautiful to play. I just thought this would be a perfect one.
I like that. It's good.
What would yours be, Mark? I'll go with you, Mark.
Okay. My choice is, it's an excellent game. I think we're all in agreement with this. My choice is Portal 2. Now, it has a really witty script, and I think from the outset that will hook a new gamer straight into it. Particularly with the voice acting of Stephen Merchant, who's just excellent. It's a clever game. The puzzles are very clever. They're just enough of a challenge to be thought-provoking, but not rage-inducing. And it doesn't have any sort of time constraints or anything like that, so you can play it on your base. You're not chased by enemies constantly or anything like that. So the buttons are really simple. You only really need to know 3-4 buttons. So each portal, so that's 2 buttons. Jump. That's pretty much all you need to know, really.
You need to grab boxes and stuff as well.
Yeah. And then I think you feel smarter after you play it as well. I mean, and then if you don't feel like playing it on your own, if it's your first time playing it, then you can always play the co-op campaign with someone, can't you? It's got a really good co-op campaign, so you can play with your partner or friend who's, if they're not into video games, you can play alongside them, help them out. It's a great game. I mean, I would thoroughly recommend this Portal 2 as being. I think it gives you everything that is so great about video games.
I'd tend to agree with that. The learning curve's not very steep either, so it kind of edges you into it.
Yeah, you'll learn each subsequent device that you need to learn along the way, and it's just fun to play. It's really good. It makes it. I really want to play it again. Actually,
we know what you're going to be doing after this.
Go on, Nathan. What's yours?
Me. I've got 2 because I'm greedy. So my first one would be it's not a game, it's a demo. If I were to give an adult a game to play, it'd be PT. It'd be absolutely hilarious. There's a couple of reasons.
Wow.
I'd class it as a walking sim, because you get up, you don't know where you are, and you've got to walk around and be observant, and you can do it at your own pace, and you've got to try and analyze visual cues, and I think it's intense as well. So it'd always stick.
I'm going to have to object here and say that I think that would put people off playing games again.
I was like, when I came up with this question, I was like, right, what game would you introduce people that would get people into gaming, but not to completely scare them away?
So that's my adult option.
It would make for a great experience for everyone, but not the person that's playing the game.
Well, you never know; they might like it. There might be horror buffs that just love it. But anyway, that was the first thing that came to our mind, funnily enough. Secondly, for maybe a younger audience, it's probably quite cliche, but I'd go with... 7.
In VR.
Yeah, that's it.
Just tone down the atmosphere a little bit.
Yeah, that's it. I'm sorry.
Or turn it up, maybe. I don't know.
This one's fairly cliche. The original Super Mario Brothers. It's just a simple platformer. When you get killed the first time by the Goomba, as you probably will do, then eventually you'll learn how to jump. And I think there's not very many mechanics as part of the game. And I think it's a good starting point for anybody that wants to get into games. I think it's in that mid-level. It's not as simple as like Pong, for example, and it's not as advanced as gaming nowadays. But I think it's a nice starting point. I'd say to anybody, if you're a non-gamer, personally I'll start with a platformer, just something really simple to edge you into gaming mechanics if you've never played a game before in your life, because otherwise you wouldn't know what's going on. And you get lost. Even, for example, with camera angles, you wouldn't know to flick the right stick to move around, to look anywhere. It's just little things like that we know what to do, but a non-gamer wouldn't know what to do. So I think a nice simple game like that, just to get you going, would be a good option.
Yeah, I think you'd probably want simplicity to begin with in your first game you ever play. Don't give them Red Dead tip, because the button mechanics of that are so complex at times.
Yeah.
Trying to eat a bit of steak takes about like 5 button prompts all at the same time. It becomes muscle memory. But anyway, shall we move on then?
Yeah, sure.
So, what have we currently been playing? Go on, Matt. What you playing?
Right. I've not been playing, funny enough, a whole lot outside of, again, the usual. But I suppose what I've been playing is quite varied from what I've been doing. So, last 2 weeks, I've been trying to get back into Pokemon Sword. And, well, the reason why I'm doing that is I'm trying to go through the Isle of Armor DLC again, because the new DLC, the Crown Tundra, actually came out between our last podcast and this one. So I wanted to try and get at least through the first bit of DLC that I didn't complete. Looking if I've finally completed it, is I did like this little piece of DLC. It was I like how it was a lot of focus around kind of one little story that takes you around the whole of the island. And the island is quite varied. It's actually really quite nice to bike around, and then finally being able to have your Pokemon out behind you, following you now. But they can only do it on this island, which is a bit bit of a disappointment, but I'm kind of hoping the things they've learned from Sword and Shield, they can implement into whatever the next game is for the Switch, and they can really kind of kick on and make like a pretty good, mainland console game. So try and keep my fingers crossed on that one. Other than that, I played two very varied different games for the PC. I reinstalled a game called Subnautica.
Oh, love that game.
Yeah, if you never heard of it, it's essentially like a first-person survival game, but where it's all set kind of underwater. So the premise is that you're on this spaceship, is for whatever reason breaking apart, is exploding, and you get jettisoned out in a escape pod, and then you land on this like water planet in effect. And you kind of have to like figure out what's gone on because the ship's landed on the planet as well. So you got to kind of figure out what happened, while also collecting resources so you can pick up different species of fish to eat and cook or to get water out of, which is a bit weird. And then you just going through this like ocean planet underwater, and there is some fish in there that is absolutely scary.
You come across like the giant see-through ones yet? Because I tried swimming in one direction, and when you get to a certain point, definitely at night, you just see this big, massive thing brush past you, and they actively try and eat you. And I died a few times doing that. Have you come across them yet?
I've not come across them, but I've seen like the big, like kraken-esque creatures that will absolutely eat you for breakfast. So I've not got too far yet, but I'm making my way through. And then I bought a new game yesterday on Steam with my mate to play with, and this isn't normally a game type that we'd actually play. And I think I've only kind of bought it because we were looking for some more co-op games, and it's one of the bigger ones at the moment that's been like streamed and stuff. It's called Phasmophobia.
Yes.
Yeah, again, if you haven't heard of it, it's a 4-player co-op, sort of first-person ghost hunting game. Effectively, what you got to do is, and you can play this by yourself. You don't have to play with 4 people, but there's some maps that recommend, you need to play with at least 2 or maybe 3 or 4, like the full 4 players. Your objective is there's about 10 different ghost types within like this haunted house or building, and you've got equipment to kind of work out what type of ghost is haunting this place. So you've kind of got stuff like you've got like a video camera where you can place it in a room, and then you can go back to your truck and have the night vision on. So you're looking for like what they're called ghost orbs. You might, if you've ever watched. Have you ever watched like ghost haunting TV shows?
Oh, yeah. Most Haunted and that.
Most Haunted, yeah, it's probably the more famous one here in the UK. Like you'll if people got like the ghost, the night vision on, you see like orbs going, like, oh, that's a ghost, and you're like, nah, it's just a bit of fluff, mate.
Yeah, that's it. A bit of dust.
Just a bit of dust. Calm down. So you can place those in, and then effectively you've got other equipment, and like the objective is you got to find 3 definite pieces of evidence, which will then tell you what ghost type it is, and then you go back in the truck and just kind of drive off, and you get like money based on like objectives that you've done, any photos that you've taken of like paranormal activity. And really, it's just a horror game, and I'm like, why am I playing this? Why am I doing this? I normally don't like horror games, even though like Resident Evil is like my favorite video game series ever. But I'll tell you, like, I'll tell you one bit that happened when we were doing it. So we were going through this house, and we just couldn't find any evidence in anything. There was no rooms where you could see cold breath, which is like evidence. You've got a spirit box where if you talk into it, sometimes you might get a reply back from the ghost, depending on what you've asked or something. And we were getting nothing from that. We were getting no EMF levels going up, so it's meant to register. It's meant to register the levels of paranormal activity going on, but nothing was happening. We went through all this house, nothing, and so I'm very excited. It's a good idea if I go around the house again in full darkness, other than a flashlight, with this spirit.
Sounds like a good idea.
Go through the house with the spirit box. He would be in the truck to measure the paranormal levels, because there's like a level chart seeing just like how much paranormal activity is going on. So if it's low level, it's probably the ghost is doing little stuff, maybe knocking stuff about or whatnot. But if you get to a point where it's a high level, then it's doing a lot of, well, it's basically like going insane in this house. So I go upstairs, went into this one room, and you can say the ghost's name for it to do paranormal stuff. But if you say it enough times, it gets angered and will initiate what's called a hunt. So it'll like actively hunt for people in the house, and if it finds you, you'll end up like killing you, in fact. And I kept on saying this name, and nothing was happening. I'm just like, all right, I'm just gonna come back to the truck. We'll just try and guess what it is, and we'll just leave. And like, as I got kind of downstairs, my torch starts kind of clicking on and off, and I'm like, oh no, something's happening. Got to the front door was locked. Ooh. I couldn't open it, so I'm like, what's going on? I got to like behind this table and just like didn't know what was happening. Like it just kept on flashing on and on, and suddenly I got this like bright white flash of whatever, and then suddenly these like hands are coming across my face. And they're meant to. I think it's meant to say that it's like he twisted my neck and killed me.
Yeah, I won't be playing that one.
That's not a game for me. Mate? I'd have buggered off it Van ages ago.
Yeah, he came.
I like how he abandoned you in the house. Let's say you go back. No, not
we both agreed that like he would measure like the paranormal activity and see what was going on. And there's like you've got like an insanity measurement as well. So like everyone starts at 100% sanity, and like the lower you go down, the more likely chance the ghost will do stuff. But mine must have been like really way down because it started hunting me. And I was there like trying to open the door. He'd come out of the truck because he's got the key to the front door. Couldn't open the door. I'm like, oh my god, what's happening? It was terrifying. There was another one as well, but I'd be at it all day. So that's what I was playing. What about you, Nathan?
Me. So I played a game called Resident Evil Origins. So funny story. I was meant to get this a few weeks ago in preparation for the Hall of Fame game that we did on the last podcast, but through some issues with the delivery, I didn't get it till afterwards. So I decided to give it a go a couple of weeks ago now, and I played it for about an hour in total, half an hour ish. I streamed it, and I think Matt was lucky enough to watch most of the stream. I'll admit the dialogue is pathetic. I didn't like the camera angles. I got killed by a dog. I got killed by a zombie. Funnily enough, most of the time of me going through the game, I didn't know how to actually attack the zombie. So I just kept pushing it over. The first time I pushed the zombie over, like, yes, it's dead now. And then it got back up again. Hello, blooming heck, he likes me. So I just tried to run away. And then as I came back round the corner, it was just there. I was like, oh, it's not for me. So I gave it a good try, I think.
It was quite the rage quit. I'll give you that.
Yeah, live rage quit as well. Everybody loves the drama.
I turned up to watch the stream, and then literally about 30 seconds later, it was like, right, that's it, stream over. Off. Like, oh, okay.
Yeah. So now, that game now resides in CEX. So it's gone now. never playing that again. But yeah, that's that one.
I'm not letting you live this down.
I will never live this down.
So did you not pick it back up to try again? I thought you were going to.
Oh yeah, you said you were going to do it.
Yeah, I decided not to.
Okay.
Because I thought
you didn't
about
even play the other Resident Evil on the disc.
Yeah, true. Maybe I'll come back to it one day, but we'll see. Anyway, I've also started playing South Park and the Fractured Butthole. So
series.
Fractured butt.
Butthole.
Yeah, fractured
hole,
butt.
as in the hole.
Yeah, the whole thing.
Yeah, the whole thing, not the
But with one
butthole. Yes.
I'm trying to get away with that, Nathan. God.
Anyway, yeah. So I've made my character. My character's got pink hair and white clothes, so it's kind of like a bit like Colonel Sanders, but with a pink afro. So that's my character.
Okay.
And I've only played about half an hour of it, but I'm enjoying it so far. It's literally like playing through an episode of South Park. It's hilarious. Everyone's as you'd expect them to be. The combat's a bit different to what I was expecting, because I was expecting like more of like a beat 'em up style, but it's like a grid combat based system from what I've played so far. So you've got an attack, and enemies come up on screen, and then you've got to move around these grids. And then once you get to an enemy, you can choose what attack you're going to use. So there's a little bit of strategy to it. So I wasn't expecting that. I was expecting just to, here you go, you have a weapon, and then go at it.
Have you played the first game to that? Was it the Stick of Truth?
I've not, no. But on the disc that I've got that game as well. But I did start playing the Fractured Butthole, so I've skipped that one kind of. But
okay.
Yeah.
So I think I remember seeing it when I was being shown off, and I think that one is like a turn-based RPG. So it's a bit like Final Fantasy. So
yeah, that's it. That's exactly what this one's like. It's that kind of style.
And you like it?
It's good. Yeah, I'm enjoying it. How can I? Yeah, it's similar to like Fire Emblem, and do you know that Steam game on the 3DS? It's a bit like that.
Codename Steam.
Codename Steam. Yeah, that's right. But yeah, I'm enjoying it more than I thought. My character's got a really weird backstory that Cartman made up for me. That I can't repeat, but yeah, it's really funny. Basically, I flame fart on some robbers, like you do.
Yeah.
So
sure. If it works, it works.
Well, that's it. You got rid of him. So yeah, I've been playing a bit of that, and I'll probably continue because I'm enjoying that so far. Another game that I've started is Monster Hunter World. So this is actually one that Matt trying to get to play, and decided to buy it. And
don't want it to play.
So I've not done too much so far. So I've made my character. I've made my cat. The cat's called Cookie, which is also a cat that I've got in real life. I've played the tutorial where you've got to hide from a monster that's trying to get you. And I got into the village. And then as I got into the village, we had a knock at the door. And it was the takeaway. So that got switched off, ate some takeaway, and I've not come back to it since.
I thouut you were talking about you.
As you do.
Yeah.
Yeah. Go knock on the door on the village. Had a takeaway.
Yeah, that's it. You can have takeaway in the game. No, you can't. Well, as far as I know.
You can have meals.
Yeah, you can have meals. But yeah, I'm in the village section now, so I think this is where it really begins. So yeah, I'm looking forward to playing a bit more of that. Maybe we should do some hunts, Matt, so you can show me what I need to do. But we'll see.
Yeah, sure. Do it.
So that's me in terms of what I've been playing. I do want to show off a couple of things that I've bought because I'm so materialistic. The first thing is something I posted on the Instagram is Sonic Team Racing by our very own Sumo Digital in Sheffield. So as you can see, it's not even been opened yet, but I'll get to that eventually. Another thing that I bought is from a franchise that I really enjoy, Wolfenstein, and I've bought Wolfenstein Youngblood. It's the only one of the recent remakes that I've not played yet.
I've heard mixed reviews about that.
Yeah.
I was well, yeah.
To be honest, it was only about £8, and it's the only one that I've not got. And the completionist in me wanted to buy it just to have it, and I'll see what it's like. So
Worth a punt.
Definitely, yeah. I've been continuing on my Pokemon hype train. So yesterday I bought Pokemon Fire Red. So I've got that now.
Fire Red.
Fire Red it is. Yeah. Fire Red. And something that people might not know is that DS cases also double as Game Boy Advanced cases, if you're watching this on YouTube. So if you're looking for somewhere to keep your Game Boy Advance games safe, DS cases also work. And bar that, I also got Pokemon Red, which I've been looking for quite a while, and Pokemon Crystal. So I'm slowly but surely filling in the gaps in my mainline Pokemon games that I want to collect, because it's one of my aims to get every single main Pokemon game.
Got to catch them all.
Got to catch them all, exactly. Yeah, definitely. You've got it, Mark. So that's me. What about you, Mark? What have you been playing?
Well, I've covered up with Watch Dogs 2. Some interesting bugs and things in that game. I mean, I managed to do a backflip on a road on my motorbike.
Did you post that on the gram?
Yeah, if you follow on Instagram, you'll see that. It was very bizarre. I was just speeding along the road on flat ground, and then suddenly my bike just did a backflip, and then just went back on its wheels. And
like you do.
Yeah, okay. Yeah.
As you do.
I didn't press anything, didn't do anything. It just did it. Not much else I can really say about that game. Good fun though. But I've pretty much done the vast majority. I tend to do this with a lot of open worlds. I tend to do all the side missions before I actually go on with the story. I don't know why. I think it's because it's like I'm building up, skills with the character, and then when I come to the main story, I'll end up just blitzing through it because I'm like OP by that point.
You'd be great at RPGs, just grinding all of the side missions and then just blast through the game. It's a shame you don't like them.
I like RPGs.
No, he likes
RPGs. It's JRPGs.
Oh, JRPGs. That's what I mean. Sorry to distinguish. Yeah.
But yeah, it's good. I am liking the game, but I've actually not really progressed much in the story because I've just done all these side missions. Really good fun. There is an in joking about it where you've actually got to hack into the Ubisoft studios and leak a trailer for a game.
Oh
really?
So art imitating life, basically.
This has come full circle.
Yeah.
Sounds very Ubisoft.
That's good. That raises a chuckle. But I've only played one of the game because it's Halloween weekend. I thought I'd play something slightly spooky. Mm-hmm. So I played Little Nightmares.
Ooh.
Have either of you played this?
Yeah.
I've
not played it, but I've heard of it. Yeah.
So Little Nightmares is a puzzle platformer with horror tones, basically. So you play as a little girl called Six, who awakens on a boat, and basically you're just attempting to escape from it. And along the way, you come across some really creepy enemies. I don't know if you've seen these, but they tend to have some sort of odd deformity or morbidly obese. They're really weird. It's kind of like claymation models. I think that's the best way I can describe them. That sort of animated style. It's quite a freaky game. Bit spooky, a bit scary. I mean, it's not like poo your pants scary, but it's got a real tension to it.
Yeah.
It's eerie, dark, and it's unnerving. And there's some really short but quite intense chase sequences in them, which can be quite. I mean, if I was streaming it, that's what I'd be doing.
Do it.
A couple of negatives, though, is that it's quite a short game.
How short are we talking?
I think I completed it in less than 3 hours.
Okay.
That's not bad. It's just little.
5 chapters. It might have been more like 2.5, actually. I don't know. But, and the checkpoint system in it is quite annoying as well, quite infuriating. Because there are occasional points where you'll inevitably fail. maybe in one of these chase sequences or whatever. And it just put you back a bit further than it probably really should. So you have to do the same thing again. Like there's one moment where you've got to go, so it starts on the left of the screen, you've got to run across the bottom of a bar, jump up a barrel, and then run across the bar. And as you're running across the bar, there's a bunch of enemies trying to grab you.
Mm.
And then when you get to the end of the bar, you've got to climb a box and then jump over a gap and grab something on the wall. Now, sometimes the game mechanics weren't doing what I wanted it to do. When I pressed the button, it just wasn't happening. So I was running along, did all that, went along. When you jump, I pressed the button to grab it, and it just wouldn't. And then just fell back down to where I started. So then I have to run back across the bottom of the bar, run past all the enemies again, and then inevitably one of them would grab me by that point, and then I'd have to start again. And it keeps putting you at the bottom left, so I had to keep traipsing all the time, doing it, jumping up and down, either being captured or just falling back down. It was quite infuriating at moments. But aesthetically and from an artistic standpoint, really good game. Really good. I would highly recommend it. I know there's a sequel coming on the way, isn't there? I think that's going to be I don't know if it's a co-op, but I think it's got 2 characters in it.
Yeah. I think so.
But yeah, I really enjoyed that game. I would highly recommend it. I'm currently playing through the DLC because I've got the complete edition. So the main game's got 5 chapters, and then there's 3 DLC packs. I've completed the first one. So it's all called. So the DLC expansion is called The Secrets of the Maw. The Maw is the name of the ship. So I'm just going through them. So I've done the first one. Let's see how the second 2 go. But yeah, it's a spooky game, but good, really good. I would highly recommend. Cool. And that's all I would be playing with.
Nice.
Shall we move on to the Video Game Hall of Fame?
Yes.
Yes, we shall.
So, this is where we take an in-depth look at a game of high quality or historical importance and induct it into our pantheon of games we feel deserve special recognition. Our inductee this episode was released in 1996 for the PlayStation. Developed by Naughty Dog and published by Sony Computer Entertainment, it's Crash Bandicoot.
Yay!
I know this one's got a special place in your heart, hasn't it, Nathan?
Yes, and so does the female Bandicoot. Anyway.
Oh, okay.
Well, we've gone there immediately, have we? Okay.
Not even a minute in.
No, messing around. Yeah, I really love Crash Bandicoot. It's the first game that I can ever remember playing. Inevitably, I always fell down the hole or got killed by the crab in the first level. But eventually, as I grew up and my skills increased, not by much, I'll add, I managed to get through the and kept going. It's funnily enough, it's a game that I've never completed. I always get stuck on a certain level on the second or start of the third island, and I've never completed it.
Wow, I'm sure.
Yeah, so that's something that I need to do at some point.
Yeah.
Either on the original or on the remake, but well, apparently the remake's harder, so we'll see. I'll try the original. But yeah, I just really love it. It's got a really special place in my heart. I just love just how many different types of levels there are in the game, because you've got like the general platforming levels, then you've got levels like the boulder round, which basically, if you've not played it before, you've got a big massive boulder coming after you, and you've got to try and traverse yourself through the level quickly, like jumping over things, going round things, and stop the boulder from squishing you. And then you've got I won't call them vehicle levels. Like I'm talking about like Hog Wild, where you jump onto that wild boar, and then you've got to try and get through that level. That's a really fun one.
I'd say there were vehicle levels in a sense.
Yeah. So yeah, I think for the time they just had it was just such a full game, and not to mention Crash Bandicoot was pretty much Sony's mascot for the PlayStation. I'd say anyway. It was like for me, it's on that level with Mario and Sonic for both Nintendo and Sega, and I think Crash is Sony's mascot. I mean, now it's like Sackboy or whoever, but
Astrobot now, maybe.
Yeah, I was thinking probably Astrobot at this point.
Yeah. But yeah, for me, absolutely fantastic game. Love it. Will complete it one day when I get better at games.
I think there's a stream coming on here.
Yeah. I won't go and sell the game this time.
Actually, it's got really good music in that game as well.
Oh yeah, the music is great.
Oh, really catchy.
So iconic. What do you guys think of it?
Well, for me personally, I'm probably kind of in the same boat as you. As kind of as I grew up, when I got introduced to the PlayStation, I think Crash was probably one of the first games that I played on that system, and I just kind of fell in love with it. It just reminded me of like why I liked Mario and Sonic. It just had like that perfect, it was like a perfect platforming feel to it, and it was very. I don't know why it so surprised me. It was a very colorful game as well. Like they really used like every spectrum of color in most of its level.
Yeah.
Vibrant, yeah. Like something like the sort of the indoor industrial mechanical kind of levels. Like some of the like I suppose it was like the acid water that's at the bottom. But that's really vibrant and pops out really nicely. It uses a lot of its colors really well to its credit. And then just like the variety of enemies as well was really good. Like I think like within the first level alone, there's like there's the crab, I think like the piranha plant, little rip off of Mario sort of.
Yeah.
I mean, it's got its own like. It's obviously not a full rip off. It's got its own personality and hacks and stuff. And then was there like I don't want to say, is it like the armadillos? Is it armadillos? Those that slide down towards you? I think there's like armadillos.
I thought there were skunks, but
there was skunks in it, but I think there's also armadillos, and then that's just like the first level. Like as you get on, there's just so many variety of enemies and so many different ways of how you have to deal with them in a platforming sense. Like it's I don't know. It's just everything that's like perfect about it, really. Like all the locations, enemies, and then all the different jumps you got to do, the timings of stuff where it's like literally you've got milliseconds to make like the perfect jump. Otherwise, it's game over, start over again. Oh yeah, I just fell in love with it. I thought it was perfect for the time that it was made for.
Yeah. I don't know if. Oh, go on.
I was going to say, do you have a favourite boss battle that's in the game? Or any boss enemy?
Ooh. I like Ripperoo because it took me so long to actually get past him. Because you've got to, with Ripperoo, you eventually, after you get killed a few times, you realise the patterns and that he only jumps on certain blocks if you're at a certain point in the boss battle. So eventually you can do it, but there is a little bit of a learning curve as to beating him.
Was Ripperoo not Crash Bandicoot 2?
No, Ripperoo was in the first one as well.
When did he appear? Because the first boss is that
Ripperoo was the second boss. Papu was the first boss. Ripperoo was the second one because you do like the next version of Upstream, and then when you get to the top of the stream, then that's when you face Ripperoo.
Okay. I could be remembering everything wrong, but for some reason I can remember Ripperoo in the first one. Favorite one. I'm not sure.
Who was the gangster guy? The mafia guy? What was he called?
Pinstripe, wasn't it?
Yeah, that's it. Pinstripe, something.
Pinstripe, something. He was actually quite interesting. I actually thought it was more difficult than what I thought he actually was.
Strike Potter room.
Yeah. Because like obviously he's got a pattern of shooting at this furniture that you got hiding around, and then he jumps over to the other side of the room, and that's like the only time you've got to essentially approach him and hit him or spin him. But you really gotta like time it to perfection. Like if you even just like a second off of like moving from behind the furniture, he ends up shooting you. It's always annoying.
What do you reckon of the remake?
Well, this
the
is
Insane Trilogy.
I think it's been done really well, but they actually changed it, didn't they? In terms of the hitboxes for jumps.
Yeah, because is it something like they've sort of like rounded the edges off or something like that? I think I heard something about that.
So jumps that you could make in the original, in this version, you can't because you could just slide off.
I feel like I'm like the only person who finds the remake of Crash Bandicoot to be easier than what I remembered. Maybe I'm just weird, but I don't know. I think I can see it from a point of view of there's the two of those the bridges levels. I keep forgetting what they're called.
High Road? Is it High Road?
High Road sounds familiar. I think that's probably one. So so obviously in the remake, they've I suppose rounded the edges off, or they've made them I suppose realistic, which is probably not a good thing for for a platformer. But like you could in the original, you could really cheat your way in doing those levels because you could just jump onto the ropes, and because they've kind of got because they've got like the square.
But you can do that on the new one, can't you?
You could do it on the new one,
but a bit more difficult.
Not as not as accurate because you can slide off a side. And then even
baby steps correcting yourself.
But then even if you did the levels legitimately, like because of those hitboxes, you've got to have like perfect timing jumping. You can't. There's no like millimeter off or you've gone slid off. You got to be perfect with it. But for some reason I just thought outside of those two levels, I thought the rest Crash Bandicoot was easier than what I remembered it to be. But maybe that's just me. Maybe it's just with experience. I've kind of muscle memories kicked in. I kind of know what I should be doing properly now.
I've not had much Crash Bandicoot experience myself. I think I only played it really with. The first time I ever played it was at my cousin's house. So I only played the first level really. Is it Insanity Beach? Is that what it's called?
Yeah.
Insanity Beach.
I didn't find it easy. I found it quite difficult, but it's good fun, I guess. But I just get falling down the holes, and then there's got the those rolly ring things. I just get hit by them. I can't say I was very good at it. But I can see why people like it. As you were mentioned earlier, there seems to be some decent variety in it. Particularly like those things where you, as you say, you're riding the hog.
Yeah.
And they've been chased by the boulder, so that's reminiscent of Indiana Jones. Second reference to that in this pod.
Yeah, I thought they used some really ingenious ways to put the game together. Because I don't know if you've seen this or even noticed, but well, as we all know, on the original PlayStation, you could only have a certain amount of polygons in the game, and they use really ingenious ways to basically load the game so it actually worked properly. So you'll notice that in some games, there's big, massive pillars in the way of where you need to progress, and that hid the amount of polygons to stop the system from crashing. So that's why there's like kind of bottlenecks in the game, so that the system doesn't need to load the amount of polygons before it gets to the next section. So there was cool things that they put in like that. I think it's probably one of the reasons why the Baldur's Run is set up how it is, because you're not looking in front of you, it's coming from behind, so it doesn't have to load as much. So there's like little things like that they put in place to actually get the most out of the game, which is something that you had to think about at the time, having a 700 megabyte disk with all the music and the power that the PlayStation could output. So they really did as much as they got as much as they could out of the game.
So one thing that's probably made the older ones slightly more difficult than this remake, though, is the draw distance. Because sometimes you could be making a jump and you can't really quite see that far ahead, particularly if you're doing things like the high road or any other level that
you're because they did that for high road and some of the I suppose like inside the tomb levels. So like in the remake, obviously you'd be able to see the whole bridge, you see what enemies positions and whatnot, and that's fine. But then like obviously in the original, like using high road example again, you'd have this like constant fog that you just couldn't see as far. And then like in the tomb ones as well, you'd just be like you'd have this darkness in front of you all the time. So like some of the platform where you got to jump from rotating piece to piece could be quite difficult because you don't know whether that piece is going to be dropping down suddenly or if it's only just come up where it's going. Yeah,
because things you are moving at some speed in these games, aren't you? You are quickly running away, so that could present a challenge. So yeah.
Well, I think something else that I liked as well that added a good amount of replayability to Crash Bandicoot was being able to collect the gems and then the coloured ones as well. So like in each level, there's a number amount of boxes that if you manage to break all of them, you get an extra gem for it. And this kind of played into I think towards the the end game. So there was like once you got to kind of like the last, I suppose, 2 points on the third island, there's the very last one is pretty much the boss with Neocortex. But then there was a second one that I think like as a kid I didn't really understand it properly. So there was like you spawn into this. I suppose it's like a castle hallway or something like that. And initially, if you've not got any of these gems, there's these like platforms that kind of, I suppose they're outlined, but they're invisible as well.
Yeah.
So you can't really jump onto them or anything. So really, it was kind of a level that didn't go anywhere. But if you start collecting the gems, suddenly these platforms kind of become visible, and you can start jumping on them, and you'd make your kind of way through this kind of hallway. And I think I might be wrong, so I think I might need Nathan to clarify. I think you also needed the colored gems within certain levels as well to kind of finish that off.
Them. Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, so the colored gems were a bit different to the, I suppose, the normal box breaking gems, whereas you had to get to a certain point in a level without dying, and then you could take this like. I could be wrong. I think this is Crash Bandicoot 2 actually started this. But in effect, you have to go through a whole level without dying, and then you got the coloured gem. I think that was it. I think the Crash Bandicoot 1, you go through the whole level without dying, you can get these coloured gems, whereas Crash Bandicoot 2 and onwards introduced not dying to a certain point, and then you got to go to an alternate path through the level. But if you got these coloured gems as well, which are normally in like the most difficult levels in the game, then you could finish off this pathway of gem platformers that you jumped on, and then you got this like I suppose secret ending where you met up with is it Tawana Bandicoot, and you kind of flew off on like this, I don't know what it was, like an ostrich or something. And it was like a secret ending, and it was like that was pretty cool. I didn't really know many games at that point that had like alternate endings where you didn't have to fight the final boss. You could just skip him and be done with it.
Yeah, definitely. Another thing that was fairly, well, for me at the time, it was fairly peculiar, is that you could only get like a saved state if you did the bonus round. So basically, as you go through a level, you have to collect 3 of these things. And if you got 3, then you were able to do the bonus round. And when you get to the end of the bonus round, there's a code that you can enter so that you can get back to that point if you were to turn your PlayStation off. Because at the time when this came out, I didn't have a memory card personally, so I couldn't save the game. So this is the only way that I could kind of skip to a certain point. So I think that was quite an interesting thing as well, that if you got to the end of a bonus round, at that point you could jot down the code and re-enter.
Wasn't it a massive long code though?
Yeah, it was something like 12 or 14 characters. It was pretty bad.
I remember there was quite a few games in the PS1 era that had that. I think I know Castlevania Symphony of the Night had something like that. It was like I never understood it. Maybe that was just because I had a memory card at the time, so I was just like, "Who's this for?"
For me.
Yep. Now I know. Like,
yeah, so you don't have
20
to keep
years later.
PS1 on all the time. I did that a few times though. I just kept it switched on so I didn't lose any of my progress. But
that was a hot PlayStation.
Poor people problems.
Do we think Crash is culturally and maybe globally has managed to reach kind of levels of what Mario and Sonic did after this first game?
At the time?
Yeah.
I'd say at the time, yes, but I don't think it's had the longevity due to the games that have come out subsequently. Because I think after 1999, 2000, I think other developers got involved rather than Naughty Dog, and I think for me it went downhill at that point. I did like the Wrath of Cortex, but from that point onwards, it's not really had the same feel for me.
Yeah, I remember because like Wrath of Cortex was like the first one on like the new, I suppose, that new generation at that point, so PS2, Xbox. I don't think it quite made it to GameCube. I could be wrong, but I don't know. At the time, there's no real hype for Crash Bandicoot at that point, really. Like the last one that I'd played, probably the last Crash Bandicoot game that I played before the Insane trilogy was probably Crash Bash. Like, and that was a long time
probably
ago.
what put you off.
Crash. I quite like Crash Bash. I know I guess a bit of a beating, but but like I don't know. It didn't. Maybe as I was growing up, it just didn't have the same appeal. And then like I'd seen like all the other games that had come out kind of afterwards, trying to, I don't know, just trying to change with a formula that didn't really need changing. Like I remember, was it the one after the Wrath of Cortex went kind of a little open worldish and just didn't have the same effect. It was almost like once Naughty Dog had gone away, it was like no one could seem to really grasp what made Crash Bandicoot fun and why people wanted to play it.
I think a lot of it is that it was a product of its time, I think. And it's difficult to try and keep that going definitely into the probably PS3, PS4 era, doing the same thing with that style of game.
Yeah, no, I probably agree. I feel like Crash probably had a bigger fall of grace up until the Insane trilogy than what Sonic did. And Sonic gets absolutely trashed all the time now. But I mean, I was very happy once they announced they were remaking the 3 games, because I think that's it. They just played on everyone's childhood, weren't it?
Well, that's it. They played on the nostalgia. They brought the Crash Team Racing remake out as well.
Yeah,
which is a really cool game.
Yeah, and then now we've got the real Crash Bandicoot 4 that came out. I need to get on.
It's on my Christmas list.
It's about time. Yeah, I think it might be on my Christmas list.
I love that title because it just makes it sound like we're just being sarcastic every time we say
it. Yeah, it's about
time.
Well, they played on it on the trailer, didn't they? They were like, "How many times you beat this guy?" 3. Really?
Yeah.
I swore it was more than that. Yeah, no, it was a really nice joke, and I mean, it's been reviewed really well. Everyone's saying it's a really good, original take on the formula that really enhances it. And every time I see people play it, it just looks fun. It looks like Crash Bandicoot.
So does this still have the same sort of mechanics as the remake then? As in a bit more difficult, do we know?
From what I know, yeah, it's apparently it's a lot more challenging than than what the remakes were, because it's original take. So they've taken on board what they could, or what they did with the remake, and kind of just expanded on, I suppose, what their vision of what like a new Crash Bandicoot should be, which is make it difficult, because that's what it was. But then they also they added a new system in to get rid of lives and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
So now it's like the tension of losing lives is kind of gone. Now it's just more about the challenge of getting the platforming perfect, pretty much. I suppose just to tie this all together back to Crash Bandicoot, and maybe as a last little did you know fact. There was a level that the devs made for the original Crash Bandicoot that didn't make it due to it being incredibly difficult, and they didn't have enough time to really tone down the difficulty. And it was called Storm Ascent. So it was meant to be like the level before the final boss, in effect. But they couldn't make it work. They just thought it was too difficult. We're not including it. And then the Insane Trilogy came around, and they was like, right, we're gonna add this back in as free DLC because everyone loves a hard time on Crash Bandicoot. And it was, in fact, yes, the hardest level in Crash Bandicoot.
I've seen that cause rage online. People playing it. I'm not playing.
I've seen.
It looks like I'm going to have to stream that one if I ever get to it.
Yeah, I mean, outside of them making their first original Crash Bandicoot level in years, which was, I think it was Future Frenzy on Crash Bandicoot 3. They had this in, and I mean, I got it and had a go, and I think I must have wasted over 50 lives. Easy. It is so difficult, but I'm kind of happy they added it back in. It's like a little, almost like a little thank you for supporting Crash for as long.
The first one.
Now, to me, it sounds like the final insult.
The final insult
to completionists. Oh, you completed the game, have you? Have you really?
Have you really?
Try this out.
Have you tried this level?
Oh, no.
Have you tried it without dying?
Yeah.
No.
So there we have it. Crash Bandicoot, Video Game Hall of Fame, a worthy inductee, very good platformer, and a PS1 classic. Mm-hmm. So if you enjoyed listening to us, please consider tuning in next time. We release bi-weekly on Tuesdays. You can visit our website at jokingdolphin.com, where we post blogs and the Hall of Fame. Also, feel free to follow us on all social media platforms to continue the conversation. You can find Joking Dolphin on Facebook, as well as on Instagram and Twitter at Joking Dolphin. We're also on YouTube, where we post this very podcast, as well as other videos. Until next time, thanks for listening. Toodle pip.
Take care.
Bye.